So hello and welcome to Monday's Yoga Club. Your practice is at your own risk, and please just pay attention to how you're feeling, how your body's feeling today, making the right choices, taking things easy if and when you need to. We're going to start the class lying down, so if you want to take yourself to a good comfortable lying down posture, so that may well be Shavasana with feet out to the corners of the mat, hands away from your body and your palms turned up. It's fine though, particularly if you've got any discomfort in your lower back, to bend your knees and have your knees bent. Comfort is definitely the priority. So letting everything relax and just taking a few moments to bring your attention inwards, just letting go of your day so far, letting go of any thoughts you may have of what's coming after the class, what's happening tomorrow, bringing your attention and awareness into this present moment. Taking your attention to your breathing, being its observer at first, not changing it in any way, simply being aware of it. Seeing if you can follow the next 2 or 3 breaths from the start of the inhale right through to the end of the exhale. Knowing that it's absolutely fine when your attention wanders away, as it will. Just gently guide it back to your breath once you've noticed it's drifted. So changing your breath slightly, directing the expansion of the inhale downwards into your abdomen. So as you breathe in, you'll feel your abdomen lift. As you exhale, you'll feel your abdomen gently fall. And then seeing if once your abdomen has filled, seeing if you can just bring a little bit more air in, filling and broadening your chest. So you've got a sense that without any straining, you're filling yourself completely full with air. Taking big out breaths to let that all relax back down. And then what I'd like you to do for the next 3 breaths is fill up nice and full without straining. And then when you breathe out, let it go with a big sigh. You're all on mute, no one can hear you. So with letting it go through your mouth. And then bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, just letting your breath become completely normal, natural, relaxed. Bringing your hands by your side with your palms turned down. So we're going to take, with our breath, a roll up and roll down of the spine. So we'll be coming into something like bridge pose, but just taking it nice and steadily. So the first one I'm going to talk you through step by step. So hands are by your side, feet are in reasonably close, hip distance apart. And the very first thing you'll do is just tilt your tailbone up to the ceiling and feel your lower back press into the ground. So as your hips tilt up towards your face, your lower back presses down. Then starting to press into your feet, lifting your hips so that your lower back lifts, followed by your middle back and then some of your upper back. So you're just lifting up slowly, rolling up, and then rolling slowly down. Your upper back starts to drape down, then your middle back, And then with keeping a little lift in your hips, so your lower back presses down into the ground, and then tilting your tailbone away from you so that your lower back then lifts away from the mat. And then taking that roll up and down with your breath, so that as you next inhale, tilting your tailbone up, then lifting your hips, peeling your back away from the ground. Exhale, rolling back down. Aiming to have made good contact with the whole of your back every time you lift and every time you lower. Remembering at the start and end to do that roll of your pelvis. And as you warm up now, you might find as you lift, you can just take it a little bit higher. So pressing a bit more into your feet, pressing a bit more into your upper arms, getting a bit more lift. And then just taking one more. So that next time your hips land down, you can bring your knees up onto your chest. Taking your arms around your legs and having a rock from side to side. Bringing your rocking to a halt in the centre and easing your head to your knees, drawing your knees to your chest. Releasing your legs, landing your heads down. And then from there, in your own time and your own way, coming up to standing. So ready for our sun salutations. So if you're new to sun salutations, just take it at your own pace. There's no rush. It doesn't matter if you don't get everything in the first time you take a sun salutation. So standing at the front of your mat, feet are together, hands are relaxing by your side. Shoulder blades relax, crown of your head lifts, feet press down, lengthening throughout your body. We'll start with 2 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, bringing your palms together at the centre of your chest, lifting your elbows, relaxing your shoulders. So you feel your upper back starting to work a little. Then reaching your hands up towards the ceiling, lifting them a little higher upwards, and then taking your arms and armpits back, tilting your rib cage up towards the ceiling. Look up between your hands, and then keep your arms lifted and pressing back as you then from your hips start tilting forward and down. So it's as if your arms are acting as a bit of a brake, slowing you down as you lower. And then when you can't keep your hands lifted, let them relax down, bending your knees so that your fingertips touch the mat. Neck muscles relax, head hangs heavy. Taking your right leg all the way back, then lifting your gaze, relaxing your hips. Keeping your right knee lifting, then palms on the ground, left leg back. Our first down face dog. So hips lift high to the ceiling, hands press down towards the mat, heels press down towards the mat. So hips lifting, taking your weight towards your feet so your chest comes down towards the mat and your knees. Coming forward from there to plank, so your shoulders end up over your wrists, looking down between your hands. Navel drawn into your spine so your core strong. Then lower your knees, followed by your chest, making contact with your chin, or maybe your forehead will reach on the ground. Press forward to lift your face and lift your chest, shoulder blades ease down your back, elbows come in close. Then toes tuck and hips lift. Maybe taking your hips back towards your heels first and straightening your legs. Down face dog, so hands press down, heels press down, hips lift on high. So we're going to do our calves. We're going to do something slightly differently for our calves today. So with both hands pressing firmly down into the ground, Move your right foot over so that it's next to your left foot. So your right foot is coming into the middle. And then pick your left foot up and send it up towards the ceiling, nice and straight. Now as you do that, if you now press your right heel down, you'll get a strong stretch in your right calf. And if you want to make that stronger, you can bring your left foot down so that you can take the big toe and the second toe around your heel, and that means you can use that foot to help press your right heel down to the ground. Keeping your hands pressing forward and down, keeping your hips lifting as that heel presses into the mat. And then picking up your left leg, just taking it up a little away from the leg and then bringing it back down. Moving your right foot back out to the right. If you've got the energy, reset your dog, hips lift, hands press forward. And then look between your hands and bring your right foot through. Lift your gaze. Let your hips relax, but keeping your left thigh lifting. Then springing your left foot through between your hands. Relaxing into your forward fold, knees bent, head hangs heavy. Then taking your arms, start your arms lifting up and let them bring you back up to standing. Taking your arms back, looking between your hands, and then hands come down. Inhale. Exhale, your palms come together, lifting your elbows, taking your elbows back towards your shoulders. Reaching your arms up and back, looking between your hands, tilting your ribcage to the ceiling. From your hips, stretching forward and down, keeping your arms lifting for as long as you can, bending your knees, toes, fingers in contact with the mat in line with your toes, head hangs heavy. Take your left foot all the way back. Lifting your gaze, relaxing your hips. Right foot back, down face dog. Hips lift on high, hands press down. Chest guided back towards your knees, heels to the mat. Come forward to plank, shoulders over wrists. Looking between your hands, press the ground away from you. If you're feeling strong, you could take your elbows back and lower in one straight line, or you can take knees down followed by your chest. Once you've landed, relax your upper body, then press forward, lifting face, lifting chest, shoulder blades, ease back. Tuck your toes, lifting your hips to down face dog, maybe taking them back to your heels a little first. Hips lift on high in down face dog, hands press down, heels press down. Then bringing your left foot a little bit over to near the right foot, so your left foot's in the middle. And picking up your right foot. So this is three-legged dog, by the way. So taking that heel as high to the ceiling as you can, pressing your left heel firmly down, getting that initial good strength of calf stretch in the left calf. And then if you want to make that stronger, bring your right foot down. So you take the big toe and second toe around the heel, using your right foot to press that heel down even more firmly, stretching the left calf. Keeping your hips lifting up towards the ceiling, your arms pressing forward. And then lifting your right foot back up, lowering it to the ground, moving your left foot back over to the left. A final down face dog if you've got it, pressing into hands, lifting hips. Then look between your hands, left foot comes through, gaze lift, hips relax, keeping your right knee lifting. Then right foot through, relaxing into your forward fold. Reaching and stretching up, leading with your arms, looking between your hands when you're lifted. Then hands come down. Inhale. Exhale. So we're going to take one more round of sun salutations. We'll flow this time with the breath. If aligning with the breath gets in the way of the moves, just focus on the moves. The breath can come next time. Hands relax, crown of your head lifts. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressing together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up and back. Letting your arms tilt your rib cage up. From your hips, exhale, stretching forward and all the way down. Knees bent as much as you need. Inhale, right leg back. Lift your gaze, hips relax. Exhale, left foot back. Down face dog, hips lift on high and heels press down. Inhale, forward to plank, looking between your hands, pressing your heels away. Exhale as you lower. Knees then chest all one straight line. Inhale, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhaling, toes tuck, hips lift on high, hands press forward against the ground. Inhale, right foot through, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, really relaxing on the exhale. Inhale, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms together, final side. Inhale, stretching and reaching up. Exhale, forward and down, fingertips in line with your toes. Inhale, left leg back. Lift your gaze. Exhale, right foot back. Hips lift, chest towards your knees. Inhale, forward to plank, looking between your hands, shoulder blades ease down your back. Exhale to lower. Inhaling, lift your face, lift your chest, elbows in close. Exhale, toes tuck and hips lift. Final down face dog, hips lift on high, heels press down. Inhale, left foot through, hips relax. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhale, lifting and reaching and stretching up. Exhale, hands down. Taking your feet apart, turning your palms to face forward. A couple of good cooling breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Then with your belt close at hand, come to lying down on your mat, coming to a comfortable Shavasana pose. Being fully aware of your body lying against the ground. And just noticing any points where the sensations in your body, the feelings in your body are telling you that you've just done 2 rounds of sun salutations. And just noticing the effect that saluting the sun has had. And preparing to stretch our legs out. Bend your knees, bring your feet in towards you, feet hip distance apart. With the belt, you can pick up your right foot, looping the centre of the belt around the ball of your right foot. Once it's looped, send your foot away from you and land the heel down on the mat. Keep your left knee bent, holding a belt loop. So you've got one strap in each hand. Your arms are straight. Just making sure that your neck is nice and long. So you might just want to pick up your head, tilt your chin down towards your chest, and then land your head back on the mat. Then drawing your left toes up towards, are we left or right? We're right. We're right. With your right, drawing your right toes up towards you and pressing your right knee down towards the ground. So that's straightening and activating your right leg. Shoulder blades and shoulders relax down to the ground. And then on your next inhale, lift that straight leg up towards the ceiling. Prioritize straightness, so keeping the leg straight, so your toes are drawing down, your knees are pressing away. Only if you hyperextend, then you should put a little bend in that knee. Otherwise, you're bringing the leg just to the point where it's still okay and still feels comfortable. From there, reach your hands up so you're holding a belt loop in each hand with your arms straight, as close to your foot as you can reach. Still letting your shoulders relax, feeling that gentle pull on your leg as you let your shoulders relax down. And then easing that straight leg to its biting point. So taking it back to the point where it's uncomfortable, and your legs letting you know it's gone far enough for now. And then we'll use the breath to find more biting points. See, every time you inhale, ease your leg back 1 millimetre or 2 to its next biting point, and every time you exhale, relax your upper body, especially relaxing your shoulders, so you almost feel that gentle pull on your foot as your shoulders relax. Keeping that going, so every breath gives you an extra 1 millimetre or 2 of movement of your leg, an extra 1 millimetre or 2 of length in your hamstring. Knowing that we get a lot further by taking lots of small relaxed movements than trying to do one big strong pull of the hamstring into position. One more breath, a final biting point for now. Then passing both belt loops to your right hand, extending your left arm out along the ground at shoulder height. Being aware of your right hip on the ground, you want to keep that in contact with the ground, also pressing your right shoulder and right arm down. As on your next exhale, you very slowly start to take your right leg out to the right. Let the belt slip through your fingers and try and avoid your leg going any closer to the bottom of your mat. You want to keep it just about where it is now. Bending your left elbow so your left elbow can land down. Keeping your right knee pressing out to the right. Making sure that your wrist is nice and straight. If you've got any ache in your wrist there, you might just want to make sure your hand is nice and straight on the end of your wrist. And then just hold there for a breath or two, relaxing as much as you can. And almost becoming like a book that's opening. So you're taking on one side, your left knee out to the left, pressing your left arm down. And on the other side of the book, you're letting your right leg ease and rest down to the ground, and your right arm pressing into the ground, your right upper arm. So you're getting stretches down the inside of both legs, and then on your next inhale, bring the leg back up to the centre. Once it's there, reach up with both hands and ease that leg back to its final biting point. Drawing your toes down, pressing your knee away so that leg is straight, and then unhook the belt. Lower your right leg down, and then bend your right knee to bring your right foot in. Picking up your left foot, looping the belt around the ball of your foot and extending it out along the ground. Heel touches the mat. Making sure that your arms are straight, your shoulders are relaxed. Drawing your toes towards you so you're flexing your left foot, pressing your left knee down, and then keeping it strong and straight on an inhale, bringing it up. Just bringing it as high as feels comfortable initially, reaching your hands up then so you're holding a belt loop in each hand. Letting your shoulders relax, you feel a gentle pull of the belt against your foot, and then ease to your first biting point. Discomfort, not pain. Using your breath, find more biting points. Inhaling, easing your leg back 1 millimetre or 2. Exhaling, relaxing your upper body. Maybe having a sense of that foot as you exhale and relax your upper body, drawing firmly into the left leg, drawing firmly into your left thigh bone. Two more breaths, seeing if you can find 2 more biting points, maybe looking up to see if you can see your toes moving against your ceiling, or in Jim's case, the sky. And then passing both belt loops to your left hand. Holding as close up by your foot as you can reach, extending your right arm out along the ground at shoulder height. Right hips pressing down. As you next exhale, taking your left leg out to the left, your right knee out to the right. Let the belt slip through your fingers, let your left elbow bend to make contact with the ground. Keeping your foot heading up towards the top of your mat rather than drifting down towards the bottom of the mat. And then seeing if you can open your book a little wider, pressing your right arm down into the ground, pressing your right knee towards the ground, pressing your left arm into the ground, letting your left leg relax down towards the ground. So you're just opening the angle wider from one side of the body to the other. Taking one more breath, relaxing everything on the exhale. And on your next inhale, bring your leg back to the center. Reach up with both hands. Ease your leg back to the final biting point and unhook the belt. Exhale your leg down to the ground, stretching your right leg out, turning your palms to face up. Let your feet relax apart and take a couple of breaths there. Bringing your feet together, extending your arms up above your head, interlacing your fingers, pointing your palms away if that is comfortable. Then pressing your hands back in one direction and your toes forward in the other. So you're stretching your body as long as you can. Feeling the stretch on the top of your ankles, your armpits, over your abdomen. Then release. Bring your hands over by your side and come to standing. So taking our weekly ITB stretch, you may feel, if you've never experienced ITB problems, you may feel that this, maybe you don't need it, but it is worth keeping the ITB long so that you don't ever experience the knee problems that come from a tight ITB. So feet hip distance, hands relaxing by your side, shoulders relaxing as always, and then taking your right foot over across the left. Now as you do that, you might notice your body might have turned very slightly to the left, or it might have even turned very slightly to the right. You want to bring it so that it's still facing directly forward, so that everything's pointing that way, and if there was a wall behind you, everything, your both shoulder blades, both buttocks, would be resting evenly on it. Then bringing your right hand onto your right hip, and when you're ready, on your next exhale, hinge over to the right. Once you come down as far as you can, then press your hips over to the left. So that starts you feeling some stretch down the outside of that hip, seeing if you can then relax down more to the right. And then we'll take that with our breath. But before we do that, just check in. You might find that you've moved one shoulder forward or the other, and the other back. So just making sure that you are still level so that the wall's equally touching your back. Then as you next inhale, bringing that back up. As you exhale, tilting back to the right. Inhaling, pressing your hips to the left. Exhale, relaxing down right. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale as you tilt back right. Inhale, send your hips over to the left. Exhale, relax right. Keeping the back foot pressing firmly down. Inhale, back up, final one. Exhale, tilt right. Inhaling, send your hips to the left. Exhaling, relaxing to the right. This should be your furthest one. Inhaling, come back up to the center. Uncross your right leg and cross your left leg over the right. Once again, just making sure your hips are still, everything's still facing forward. Bringing your left hand onto your left hip. Right hand's just relaxed. Your back foot, your right foot's pressing firmly into the ground. And as you next exhale, hinge over to the left. So this is as if your left elbow is very, very heavy. Pressing your hips out towards the right and relaxing more to the left. So feeling some stretches happening where your ITB connects at the top of your leg. Maybe also where it connects down underneath your knee. 3 more with our breath. So as you inhale, bring that back up. And as you exhale, hinge back left. Inhaling, send your hips over more to the right. Exhaling, relaxing left. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, tilting left. Inhale, hips to the right. Exhaling, relaxing left. One more. Inhale, back up. Exhale, tilt left. Inhale as you press your hips to the right. Exhaling, heavy elbow as you relax one final time to the left. And inhaling, back up, uncrossing your legs, feet hip distance, hand on hips, and rotate your hips for a few rounds in each direction. Taking it the other way. And then bringing that to a halt in the center and coming back onto your mat. This time coming so that you are kneeling at the back of your mat with your hips, with your knees hip distance apart. So we're going to work our core, but as we work our core, I'm headless, we are also going to really stretch the shoulders and the hips. This is a posture called dynamic dolphin. So to prepare for dynamic dolphin, make an L shape with your thumb and first finger and then wedge that firmly into your elbows. This is to get the right distance. Then take those down onto the mat. Once you're there, just move forward or backwards as you need to, so that you end up with your knees underneath your hips and your elbows are underneath your shoulders, so that your upper arms are vertical. Then release your hands, so keep your elbows where they are as you take your hands forward. Let me just adjust that. So you take your hands forward and then bring your palms together and interlace your fingers nice and tight. So your hands are pressing together and your lower arms are pressing firmly into the ground. Taking your knees out to the width of the mat. Drawing your navel up towards your spine. And then when you're ready, starting to slowly move your body forward so that you start to come forward of your hands, just coming as far forward as you're confident you can get back from. Then bring that back so you come back, your head passes over your hands, coming back to the center. Then start to take your hips back down towards your heels. So you're sitting back, keeping your arms pressing down and your hands pressing together. Then bring that back to the center. Then you're going to keep this going with your breath. Every exhale you'll move away from your hands. Every inhale you'll move back to them. So exhale forward. And then as you inhale you'll come back. And then the next exhale you'll sit back down towards your heels. Just taking it as far as your shoulder is comfortable to go. Keeping your navel drawing up towards your spine. And if you wanted to make this a little bit stronger, what you could do is tuck your toes under and lift your hips. So you take the same movement but with straight legs. Keeping your navel drawing down towards your spine, keeping your hands pressing into the mat, keeping your palms firmly pressing together. If you find at any point your elbows have splayed out a little, then just bring them back in towards each other. So taking up to 2 more of these if you have them. Feeling that stretch in your hips, feeling that stretch in your shoulders. And then once you've taken your final one and returned back to the middle position, you can then unclasp your hands and sit your hips back down to your heels. Bringing your forehead down towards the ground, stretching your hands out. If your forehead doesn't touch the ground with your hips close to your heels and you want to get a bit of something for your forehead to rest on, you can make a fist with 1 or 2 hands and let your forehead rest on your fists. So just taking a few breaths there, really allowing your abdomen to expand down between your knees as you inhale. And then stretching your hands out in front of you so that your arms are stretched as far in front of you as you can take them. Just looking down towards the mat. And then bringing yourself up to hands and knees. And then keeping going so that you come forward into up face dog, just bringing your hips as far forward as your lower back is comfortable to go. Then lifting your hips, sitting them back to come back to child's pose, stretching your arms out in front of you. And then take a couple more of those with your breath. So as you inhale, you're coming forward, lowering your hips down to come into up face dog. And as you exhale, you're sitting yourself back down. And then after your next one, just sitting back on your heels, resting back down in child's pose for a couple of breaths, resting your hands, your forehead onto your fists if you need that. And then getting ready to our back work today. So coming up to hands and knees and then coming to lie out on your front. Stretching out and bringing your hands underneath your forehead, resting your forehead onto your hands. Taking a couple of breaths there, relaxing everything. And then bringing your hands underneath your shoulders. Tips of your fingers lined up to the top of your shoulders so that your elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling, bringing your elbows in close to your body. Rest your forehead on the mat. With your forehead resting on the mat, just activate your shoulders by taking them first up to the ceiling and then down towards your feet. So a little up and back movement of your shoulders. Then as you next inhale, just lifting your face, you're looking directly forward. Feel the stretch in your throat as you do that. And then as you next inhale, just slowly lifting your chest away from the mat. As you lift your chest, your shoulder blades ease back, your elbows coming close, keeping your breath steady. And as you next exhale, lowering back down, landing your forehead to the ground. Then stretch your arms out in front of you. Your arms are stretched as far forward as you can. Stretching your toes away behind you. So you're making yourself as long as you can. Forehead or chin, if you need to, is resting on the ground. Then as you next inhale, lift your face, so you're looking forward. As you next inhale, lift your right arm away from the ground, stretching your fingertips forward as you lift. And then as you next inhale, lift your left leg away from the ground, pressing your left hip crease downwards to help you to lift your left thigh away from the mat. Keeping your toes pressing backwards and your hands pressing forward. And as you next exhale, lower your leg, then your hand, then your forehead. Next inhale, lifting your face to look forward. Next inhale, lifting your left arm. So feeling your armpit lift, stretching your fingertips forward. Next inhale, lifting your right leg. So pressing both hip creases, but particularly the right hip crease into the ground. Seeing if you can peel more of your thigh away. Seeing if you can lift your armpit higher. Keeping your breath steady as you do that. Taking one more breath, maybe lifting a little more if you can on the inhale, and then exhaling, lowering leg, arm and head. Bringing your hands underneath your forehead and taking a moment's rest. So we're going to build on this. We're going to make it stronger. Just tune into how your back's feeling. If your back feels like it's done enough, you could rest this out, or you could take Cobra. Or you could take the two moves that we've just done, lifting one arm and one leg. If you're up for it though, we're going to take both arms and both legs. So if you want to take that, or if you're going to do one arm and one leg, stretch your hands forward and bring your forehead onto the mat. Stretch your hands forward, stretch your toes back. As you next inhale, lifting your face so you're looking forward. As you next inhale, lifting your arms, stretching your hands forward, lifting your armpits. As you next inhale, lifting your legs. Both hip creases press down as your thighs lift. Seeing if your armpits can lift. Shoulders lifting. Breath steady, breath smooth. One more breath, lifting as you take it. Exhale, lowering legs, arms, forehead. Hands can come underneath your forehead, resting your forehead or a cheek onto your hands. So being aware of your heart beating in your chest. We'll take a breath or two just to let that slow, let that steady back to normal, to resting. So we're going to step this up for those that want it by taking bow pose. So bow pose is the one where we'll bend our knees and we'll take a hold of our ankles. Absolutely, if that feels stronger than you need, then you can take cobra again. You could rest this one out. Or you could take what we just did with the arms stretched in front, lifting arms and legs, or your arms stretched behind, lifting arms and legs. Todd, that one might be quite a good one for you to do. So if you're going to take a hold of your ankles, then stretch your hands forward, bend your knees, pressing your hip creases down into the ground so that your ankles come in closer, and then lifting your arms, stretching them away from you and bringing them all the way round to catch a hold of your ankles. If you haven't got a hold of your ankles, that's fine. You can have your hands pointing up towards your toes, keeping your knees bent. And then lifting your face, lifting your shoulders, and then lifting your chest. And maybe seeing if you can lift your knees, pressing your hip creases down into the ground to help your knees lift. They may not move today, but send the signal, they will move eventually. Keeping your chest lifting, maybe pressing your ankles into your hands. That might help your knees to lift a little higher. Keeping a steadiness and smoothness in your breath. One more breath, lifting everything, exhaling, lowering back down. If you've got your ankles, release your ankles, bring your hands underneath your forehead, rest a forehead or cheek on your hands, and let everything go. Let everything rest into the ground. So that's quite a strong back session today and some fantastic bows that I can see on my screen. So from here, just bringing yourself up to hands and knees so we can take some cat-cow to ease everything out. So wrists are under shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. And then when you're ready, tilt your tailbone up to the ceiling, lift your face to look up to the ceiling, and let the back of your waist dip down towards the ground. Then tucking your head under, tucking your tailbone under, letting your back arch up towards the ceiling. So cat pose, pressing into your hands and knees. And then take this with your breath. So as you inhale, tilt your tailbone up, lift your head, let your waist relax down. And each time you exhale, tailbone tucks under, your head tucks under, and your back arches up to the ceiling. Next time you're in cat, hold cat. Head's tucked under, tailbone's tucked under. Pressing into your hands, knees and feet to lift your back a little higher towards the ceiling. Then releasing. Sitting back onto your heels. Reaching your hands forward, bringing your forehead down to the ground for a few breaths in child's pose. Placing hands underneath your forehead if you need to, but most importantly using each exhale to let everything sink downwards. Bringing your hands under your shoulders and pressing into your hands to bring yourself back up. We're going to take a twist. If you wanted to sit on a block, that would be a good idea, especially if you find sitting upright requires effort. Don't work at it. Take a block, make yourself comfortable. Have your legs stretched out in front, pressing your heels away from you. Then bring your right foot over and across your left leg. Drawing your foot in close, then bringing your hands onto your knees. Pulling gently on your knee so that your knee comes towards you, but more importantly, you're lifting your chest and bringing your torso forward towards your knee. Because what we want to do is make our spine absolutely straight. So mentally check in with your spine. You might even be able to look in your camera and to see yourself on the screen to see, is my back absolutely straight? Could I bring my lower back in a little towards the knee to help be really good and straight? Then with your left arm, just take a good grip around your right leg. And then take your left arm behind you, pressing your fingertips into the ground, having your hand close into the centre of your back. Then as you next exhale, start to take your chest around to the right. So lead your chest around. When it's gone as far as it will easily go, then see if your right shoulder can help it to go round a bit further. Taking your gaze over your right shoulder, just making sure your chin is level, so you're looking straight ahead, not looking down. Then using your next few breaths, as you inhale, press into your backhand, re-straightening, so bringing your upper body towards your leg. As you exhale, ease round, using the strength in your upper body, using the strength in your left arm. Then as you next exhale, just release and relax and bring yourself back around to the front. Stretching out your right leg and then bringing your left leg in. Bring your foot in close, taking a grip on your knee, drawing your knee in towards you, drawing your upper body upwards and forwards towards that knee, pointing your right toes up towards the ceiling. Get a good grip around that leg. Taking your left hand behind you, fingertips pressing into the ground. So again, straightening, checking your spine as straight as you can make it. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, start turning around to the left. So you're starting by taking your chest around. When your chest has gone as far as it will go, take your gaze over your left shoulder. And then see if you can use your left shoulder to lever your chest round a little more. Starting to use your breath so that as the inhale is pressed back into your hand to straighten, and your exhale is easing yourself round. Using your arm against your leg, using your upper body strength. Taking one more breath. Next time you exhale, relax everything and bring your body to face back to the front. Stretching your left leg out and taking a shake. Coming from there up to standing. Ready for a forward fold. So we're going to take a wide leg forward fold today. So coming to stand on your mat with your legs as wide as they will comfortably go, but not so wide that you lose all control and stability. Bringing your hands onto your hips and bringing your toes in towards each other so that roughly, the outside edges of your feet are roughly parallel with the outside edges of your mat. Now, to be fair, it does depend on how wide your feet are as to kind of how that measure works. But you're wanting to have your feet, your toes just coming in so that you've got real stability as you then press your feet down into the ground, trying to press all four corners of your feet into the mat. Then we want to strengthen the legs before we fold forward. So with your feet pressing down, then maybe pressing your knees back so that your legs straighten, and drawing your muscles in and up so that you feel the muscles of your legs engaged. They should feel quite solid, and it's an upward movement, drawing everything up. Then with your hands on your hips, keeping your legs pressing down, keeping that strength in your hips, lift your chest, and then as you next exhale, slowly start hinging forward from your hips, keeping a lift in your chest as you come down. So just bringing that down until you've come as far as you can go. If you hyperextend in your legs, or if that's uncomfortable for your knees, you might want to take a little bend in your knees. Then pressing your sitting bones back and the crown of your head forwards. You're making your upper body as long as you can. And then as you next exhale, let your upper body just relax down towards the ground. Letting your chest relax down, letting your head relax down, releasing your hands. If your hands will touch the ground, then you can bring your fingertips to the ground. Otherwise, you could take a hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand, letting your upper body rest down and relax over your legs. Keeping your legs strong so that all four corners of your feet pressing down, keeping your muscles engaged. And then using every exhale, every time you breathe out, allow your upper body to relax down a little more over your legs. Relaxing your buttocks, relaxing your hip creases, relaxing your head. Keeping the strength in your legs. Maybe tilting your tailbone up towards the ceiling so that you lengthen the backs of your legs. Taking 2 more breaths. If you have a hold of your elbows, release your hands down towards the ground. Then just bring your heels in towards each other and bring your hands to the top of your hips. So your hands are back on your hips. And then you're going to take a really big inhale as you come up in one straight move. Heel toeing your feet together. Letting your hands relax by your side. Yeah, doing whatever you need to do there. So a bit of marching out might be nice. Strong posture. So we're going to finish with a balance. And for our balance today, we're going to take the balance sequence. So I like what Glynis is doing there. This might be quite a nice thing for everybody to do before we take our balance, which is just to take a little bit of a twist left and right. And then bringing that to a halt. So for the balance sequence, you just need to be sure that you've got enough room to lift your leg up behind you in a moment. And then standing with your hands by your side, feet hip distance apart, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your fingertips down towards the ground, feeling the soles of your feet against the mat. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly, picking up your right foot, bringing your right knee up towards your chest. Maybe having a spot on the ground to hold your gaze, bringing your hands either in front, around the front of your knee or the back of your knee, so you're drawing your knee in towards you. Releasing your left hand, so you can take your left arm out to the left, and you can, slow as you like, start to take your right knee out to the right. So this is like a book. We want it as open as we can. So you're taking your left arm back, you're taking your right knee as far back as it will go, pressing your left foot firmly into the ground. Bringing your right foot back, nice and steady. Once it's returned, let your right arm head out to the right, opening your book once more, arms stretching out and back, and slowly starting to hinge forward at your hips. Your knee will come underneath you. Once it's gone underneath, start to stretch it straight behind you. So this is coming into aeroplane. Your arms are stretched wide, your heels pressing away behind you, lifting that leg as high as your balance allows. Then it's very slowly starting to come back up. Bending your knee so it can pass underneath you. Bringing your knee up towards your chest. And then lowering arms, lowering legs. And taking a shake of your left leg. Those were amazing. I don't think there was a single touchdown from anyone. Or if there was, I missed it. So, hands relaxing, feet pressing down, shoulders relax. When you're ready, nice and slowly picking up your left foot, drawing your knee up towards your chest. I'm just going to come forward a little. Taking your hands around the front or back of your leg, drawing your knee towards your chest. Releasing your right hand out to the right, stretching your fingertips away from you. Slowly starting to take your left knee out to the left, opening your book. Opening it as wide as you can. Slowly returning it to the center. Once it's returned, take your left arm out to the left, stretching your hands wide. Starting to slowly hinge forward, taking your left knee underneath you. As soon as it's gone underneath, you can straighten it out behind you to aeroplane. Hands stretch wide, heel stretches back, lifting the leg just as high as your balance allows today. And slowly bringing it back up, bending your knee as you do so that your knee can come up back towards your chest. Exhaling, lowering your leg, lowering your hands. Taking a shake of your legs, those are fantastic again, excellent. And then with that, it's time for final relaxation. So finding any clothes, finding anything you want to put behind your head, and then coming to lie down in your very best relaxation pose, which might be a Shavasana. Feet out to the corners of the mat, hands away from the body, your palms turned up. Letting everything rest. Maybe just picking up your head, tilting your chin down towards your chest, and then laying your head back down. If once you've done that though, it doesn't feel comfortable, undo it, because whatever's right for you is what you need. Being aware of your breathing just for 3 breaths. Focusing on the exhale, letting it relax every part of your body. Letting it relax every part of your mind. And then knowing there's nothing to do for the next couple of minutes except rest while your body gets on with benefiting from everything we've done in the class today. And slowly bringing your awareness back, tuning into the noises that are in your room or outside of the room that you're in. Taking a wriggle of your fingers and your toes. And bringing your legs together, stretching your arms above your head. So just stretch out long, toes press forward, hands press back. Then bring your toes towards you and press your heels away from you. And releasing that stretch, bending your knees one then the other onto your chest, taking your arms around your legs and having a rock. Bringing that to a halt so that you can draw your knees to your chest and lift your head to your knees. Releasing, landing your head down, landing your feet down, and from there, in your own time, bringing yourself slowly up to sitting. Thank you for joining me. Wonderful to see you all. Namaste.